195.
Hello, hashtag VersTEAv family, and welcome. It's week 195. I'm Aaron Mack, here with my good friend Basic Complexity. And what makes the number five significant to me? A couple of things, actually. I'll say my initial expected graduation year from Howard University, the illustrious from Howard University was 2005. But next thing you know, instead of being on the 4-year plan, I ended up on the 5-year plan. I actually graduated in 2006. But at the end of the day, the point is that I graduated, right? Okay, yes. And yeah, that's a substantial part. Also, like Basic Complexity, Kevin said last week, 1985 was the year he became a brother, or the year he was no longer an only child. It's actually the same for me. And 1985 is the year that I became a brother. So, yes. And I will say, Basic Complexity, Kevin, take it away with our song introduction and just introduce yourself and then pass it back to me for the new song. But you've got it, friend. Go for it.
All right, I'm sorry, really quick. Did you want me to go on with my number five thing?
No, nope. Just a song.
What's
Unless
that?
you particularly wanted to, but that's not exactly how we're doing it. But yeah.
I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'll say when it comes to the number five, and like I said before last week, 1985 was the year I lost my only child status. But really, 10 years from then, in 1995, got at least as close to a brother that I ever thought, because I had two sisters, and then my mom said that's it. So in 1995, my godbrother was born, and I would say known him his entire life. Um, Love due to death, and yeah, we get along very well. He's like the brother I always wanted and never officially had. Um, and sorry, I was going through my notes. Now,
So are you ready for me to do my new song and then pass it back to you for the old song?
oh yeah,
All right. So my new song and new-ish, well, it's pretty darn new. 2021, Janelle Monae's song "Say Her Name," "Hail You Tombow," and that's by Janelle Monae featuring Professor Kimberly Crenshaw, Beyonce, Alicia Keys, Chloe and Halle, Zoe Kravitz, and more. And it's a song naming women who have been unjustly murdered. And excuse me, oh my gosh. It's a 17-minute song of just saying names of women who've been unjustly murdered. 17 and recent names of women who've been recently unjustly murdered. 17-minute song. Just saying the names. I'll leave that right there. And basically, Kevin, take it away with your older song.
All right. My really old school song is actually a song I love. The song is called "Somebody Bigger Than You and I" by Whitney Houston, featuring Bobby Brown, Faith Evans, Ralph Tresvant, Johnny Gill, and Monica. Yeah. um, the song is from the 1996 soundtrack to The Preacher's Wife. And yeah, like I said, featuring several big names of R&B artists at the time at least. And a young, wow, a young teenage Monica who was the youngest out of everyone. Um, the song was definitely a collaborative track. In my personal opinion, it was great. However, it was never a single.
It is a great song, and don't be
Yeah.
shading the outstanding artists by being like people who, well, they were big back in the day. Yeah, like times change, but they're still outstanding artists in their own right. And I was about to
Definitely.
say, don't you come for by forgetting my Johnny Gill, my pretend husband. He was one of my well, I never like pretended we were husbands, but I do acknowledge that he is gorgeous. He is fine. Period. Period. Okay, anyway. All right. So, as we like to always do, do in the last Monday of the month, we want to thank everybody who listens to hashtag VersTEAv through it all. Thank you very much. And Kevin and I would like to give a special shout out to everyone via the countries around the globe who still listen to hashtag VersTEAv. Thank you. South Africa, thank you. Nigeria, thank you. India, thank you. France, thank you. Canada, thank you. Australia, thank you. Egypt, thank you. Germany, thank you. Belgium, thank you. Singapore, thank you. United States, thank you. Thank you all so very much for sticking with hashtag VersTEAv. Through it all, we greatly appreciate you very much. And we hope that you enjoy the show that we have for you all today. Basic Complexity, speaking of which, are you ready to get this show on the road, my friend?
Yeah, let's go.
Hashtag NotFriends at Sam Smith at Ali London TV at SamR1995. Hashtag VersTEAv195A. At Ali London TV. YouTube does not have any age restrictions on Sam Smith's degrading sexualized new music video. 5-year-olds can search this up and watch it with no content restrictions. Sam Smith, this is not art. This is not trendy. This is not empowering. This is monstrous. Hashtag Sam Smith at SamR_1995. It's one thing to not be a fan of Sam Smith. That's fine. To say that their video is over-sexualized is so rich when it's barely anything compared to what I grew up with in the 2000s. Not saying it was right back then, but clearly many people have forgotten about these. 4 videos featuring women doing the exact thing.
It's on you, my friend.
All right. I greatly appreciate the song. Also, and watching the music video, it really gives me a slight Madonna feel. Like you think back to, I think it was like the 80s. Yeah, Madonna really did not care. Um, and yeah, Madonna feel, because we should be aware that she never really cared if she had a point to make. That's what I.
You know, I get your analogy, actually. Yes. Because Madonna did, I saw an interview where she said that she did go through a time that she was just so upset with how closed-minded people were in terms of sex that she deliberately wanted to push the envelope on things because she's like, people wake up, it's just sex. Be safe, have safe sex. But anyway, but my initial reaction is I love that song, and it's from his new album, which actually came out this month of this year, Gloria, Glory, yeah. And I think it's so cool how Sam Smith is 6'2", like me, and he wears heels in the video. And I'm like, I always respect like tall people who are willing to wear heels on top of it. Like Yolanda Adams is another one. She's 6 feet 1 inches tall, 1 inch tall, and she'll slide on some heels like nothing. And I'm like, yes, all right, tall people wearing heels, being extra tall. Anyway, but I think it's cool how he knew, he and the people co-creators of the video were like, they knew that the closed-minded people who would hate on the video would be particularly upset about the water sports shot that he did, but that's probably related to their personal preferences on things, but I won't go into that anyway. And I'll say yes, it is art, and you're upset because it's making you contemplate all of the times that you didn't complain when pop music women did the same thing. And just like Sam R underscore 1995 said, now people are particularly incensed because they are male appearing, and you think that stuff like that is meant just for women, or you're most attracted to it with women and not somebody who is male appearing. Male appearing because Sam Smith is gender non-binary. And my connection, I realized that I love that Sam Smith has like a heavy voice. And I think that's so cool. Like it makes me say like if we were in the choir together like back in the day, like we probably and I'm saying like so much, I'm sorry, but we would probably sing bass together or something like that. And that's like so cool because like he has a really deep, heavy voice. And I love the Ah, I'll save it for my 1 minute. Basic complexity, what's your one and or one, but at least one sentence.
Okay. Um, well, to me, I personally feel that in general, I'm sorry, I got a little confused. All right, let me go back. All right, I just really felt that on some level, Sam Smith was channeling Madonna, like I mentioned before. And in general, I really feel that people should get their point across. If they get a point, that's it. It's like, deal with it.
I agree. And hey to Val Avery, thank you for watching, checking us out. And yes, friend. And that was your one sentence, basic complexity?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So for me, I will take a 1 and a 1, and I will finish my point from before and say, okay, I love how in the lyrics to the song, and the song is entitled, I, ooh, I'm not here to make friends. No, I'm not here to make friends. And in the his song, he talks about how 30's almost got me, and I'm looking. Basically, he's talking about the fact that he was approaching 30, and now he has crossed 30, and he's like, I'm not here to make friends. No, I'm not here to make friends. I'm looking for a lover. And not a lover like looking to get screwed, but I'm looking for a lover as in looking to have a partner. And that's what he's talking about. And I'm like, yes, sibling Sam Smith, me too. I know that's right. Yes. Now, for my one sentence, I will say the people of this world are not a monolith. We should welcome all of our beautifully human idiosyncrasies. All right. Now, for our next topic, and I will go first for the next one. Are you ready to get this next topic?
Let's go.
Hashtag KindaDifferent at Gay Magazine. Hashtag VersTEAv195 on-screen text. FDA lifts blood transfusion ban for gay and bisexual men. But there's a catch.
Prospective donors who report having a new partner or more than one partner in the past 3 months would then be asked about a history of anal sex in the past 3 months. All prospective donors, regardless of their gender identifications, who report having a new partner or more than one partner and anal sex in the past 3 months would be deferred from donation. Any individual who has ever had a positive test for HIV or who has taken any medication to treat HIV infection would continue to be deferred permanently. Additionally, under the proposed policy, individuals taking medications to prevent HIV infection, such as pre-exposure prophylaxis, also known as PrEP, or post-exposure prophylaxis, or PEP, would be deferred. More specifically, those taking oral PrEP would be deferred for 3 months from their most recent dose, and those taking injectable PrEP to prevent HIV infection would be deferred for 2 years from their most recent injection.
The tension you're running into here is that gay men across America are being told to get on PrEP, to practice safe sex to drastically avoid the risk of contracting HIV. They're also being told that you're unsuitable to donate blood if you're on PrEP. I understand the screening issue here, but why are people who are on PrEP doing the things that public health tell them that they need to be doing to functionally eliminate the risk of contracting HIV still being treated here as if they're at high risk for giving blood that has HIV in it?
So this is simply a matter of following the data that we have at this time, which is that we know that people who take PrEP, at least at this point with our knowledge of PrEP, that if you look at the population overall taking PrEP, there's a certain risk currently of contracting HIV. It's about 1 in 100 person years with current PrEP regimens. And so that's for all comers. So until we can better sort out who is of lower risk in that group taking PrEP, we need to put this donor deferral in place for PrEP. That's not to say that we won't continue to look at this and try to refine things further. It's just that ultimately, as we move forward, we have to maintain the current safety of the blood supply. And moving forward, as we're doing now, this may not be the final resting place of where we end up, but it allows us to move forward and to at least make a leap forward to allow some men who are not taking PrEP to donate. And the advanced study, by the way, showed that there is a significant fraction of men who have sex only with one partner who should be able to donate.
Wow. All right. So I will say the guy in my answer to this evolved even as I was writing down what my answer would be, honestly. And this is a difficult situation. And the guy in the box on the bottom, like, he's absolutely right. He's like, we're doing everything you're telling us to do, and now you're telling us we're wrong for it. But it's a tough situation. And my initial reaction is the same as my connection, to the extent that I remember years ago at my job, there were two other gay guys in the office. So it was a total of three of us, but I was in the closet at that time. And I remember one of my coworkers was like, one of the gay guys, he kind of like directed at me that he's like, well, you know, us gay guys, we can't donate blood because we're gay. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, because I was so in the closet. And but that's how it was back then. Like I've done some research and stuff, and like blood donations have also evolved over the years. But there was a time that it was straight up, if you've had physical intercourse with a man, F that, we are not taking your blood, period. And that it appears that with help from the HRC, the Human Rights Campaign, we are modernizing from, well, that's just the way we've always done it. And now it's, well, we might take a closer look. And gays used to be a lifelong no because of the blood risk, but now with HRC's prodding, they will take a deeper look. And it sounds like equality is making progress because of that. Like there is some equality progress there. It also feels like it was just an easy way out to be like, well, gay people are all promiscuous, so fuck it, no. Sorry, I need to cut back on my cussing. But like gay people are just all promiscuous, so forget it, no. And it was just the easy out there. But I get it because I get it to the extent that people are medical lawsuit happy. And earlier today, actually, I was listening on the radio that they're having a class action lawsuit against Facebook and Instagram because Facebook and Instagram know that those products are addictive. And people are suing them so people are lawsuit happy. I'll finish the rest in the 1 minute. Base complexity, Kevin, what do you have to say, friend?
All right. Well, it's good that the FDA is loosening restrictions on gays and bisexuals. But but in my opinion, this action should have been taken at first. I said 30 years ago. I'll even say 20 years ago. And that I don't fully understand. To me, I personally feel that in general, we should not continue to place those with the HIV or AIDS virus in a box. Because over the years, it's no longer an immediate death sentence like it used to be. And you want me to do my one sentence?
No, I was
My
waiting for you to finish. So if you're finished, I'll say my 1 and 1
All right.
is, yeah, and I get it as far as the lawsuits, like if they get some, anyway. But from their perspective, it used to be that gay people are so promiscuous and all they are doing is just sleeping around. But I realize that also comes from the fact that we were not allowed to get married. We were not allowed to get a husband and settle down back in the day. So we had, our only options were to either live life and just always be on the go, not connected to anyone, or to do one of those civil but not equal civil but not equal unions. You know,
Right.
so it's like, and it's just complicated. It's complex all around. Okay, I will say that my one sentence, and then you can give your 1 and 1. I'll say my
Okay.
one sentence is, now that we are gaining equality with relationships, the reality is no, let me say it again, sorry. Now that we are gaining equality with relationships, the equality is increasing elsewhere. Yay! Now, base complexity, you're 1 and 1.
Okay. Well, we definitely need to work on educating everyone about HIV and AIDS. It's like I said before, it's no longer a immediate death sentence like it used to be. Because back in the 80s, even 90s, like, oh, you got HIV, peace out. It's not like that anymore.
Was that your one sentence?
At first it was.
Oh, okay. Golly.
When I
That's
said we definitely need to work on educating people about HIV or AIDS.
true. Okay. Now that I will hold my peace. You know, people, right? Anyway, but yes. Okay. So, are we ready to get the third one underway? Topic
Yeah.
C.
Hashtag rejected because at LexSexDoc. Hashtag VersTEAv195
Rejection typically isn't about the person being rejected. It's about the person doing the rejecting. So whatever it is, the person that is pushing that other person away or shutting down whatever it is they're shutting down is rejecting. It's because they're taking care of themselves. They're putting up a boundary. They're saying, I don't want to engage with you in this way, or I don't want to do this in this way. And that's really great because they're letting you know exactly where they stand. So rejection isn't necessarily about you. It's not saying you're a horrible person and you're disgusting or nobody wants you. Look at it as the other person is telling you what their boundary is, what they desire, and sometimes it may or may not be you.
I forgot that was a really quick one, and I tried to take a sip, but I didn't really have enough time to take a sip. So I will say my initial reaction is my connection, in that what she said was such a healthy view of rejection. And I wish that I had that healthy view of rejection back in the day when I was getting rejected my first, second, and third time trying to holler at a brother. But oh, I love Aretha Franklin. Anyway, but I used to take it all personally. I would. And while what she said, you could look at it like, well, that's an excuse just to not feel badly. Be like, oh, well, it's because they're doing something that they rejected you. But that's actually real. That's real. And the guy wasn't ready for me. And the third, my third and final time, trying to holler at a dude was at a club. And I acknowledge I used to be the, the wild dancer at the club. I was wild, and I love grooving to the music, and I don't have a whole lot of rhythm. Team Whitney, but I he wasn't ready for what he prejudged me to be. And I get that. And it's really 100% okay. And I say, what if when I tried to holler at him at the club, he accepted it and he was like, yeah, although even anyway, but he was like, yeah, but in spite of the fact that he really doesn't like my free spirit, my free dancing, and all of that. And he accepted it in spite of, but in a relationship tried to change me. That would be a problem. That would be a real problem. But his boundary protected us. So he put up that boundary like, I don't want somebody who dances all wild and ridiculous at the club. And that actually protected us, because that way he didn't have to enter our relations, even though my dancing wild and ridiculous at the club is just a very small part of who I was at that time, but it is still a part of who I was. So it's good that we didn't enter a relationship and he like tried to change me and stuff like that. And yeah, his boundary protected us. So yes, that was his boundary. Thank you. Anyway, basic complexity.
All right. In all honesty, I have always, and I mean always, been afraid of rejection my entire life. So I never wanted to risk it and and take that chance. Just wasn't me. Despite what anyone else says, I will always blame myself for being rejected. Yeah.
Okay. So for my one sentence, I will say, in the words of the incomparable fellow Howard University Bison, Eric Roberson, God has a funny way of showing you lessons. God has a funny way of showing you lessons. Dot at the end of the sentence. Basic complexity, what's your one and or one?
All right. I fully understand that in general, you might be afraid to take that chance, but sometimes you might just have to risk it.
All right. We are, oh man. This was really a surprise today. But anyway, so topic number 4, and then it's time for the timeless tea card that neither one of us know anything about at this point. But topic number 4, letter D. Let's get it going.
Hashtag ChangeWhat at Prof Galloway. Hashtag VersTEAv195
America, 1 in 3 males under the age of 30 has not had sex in the last 12 months. And I find people hear the term sex and their mind goes different places. I think of it as the key step to an elemental foundation of any society, and that is relationship. So in the US, what's happened with online dating is it's amazing for the top 10% of attractiveness of men. It's okay for the top half. It is a disaster for the bottom half. And when I say attractiveness, I mean by very crude metrics. So if your Tinder profile, I went to MIT, I just started at KKR, and my Rolex accidentally is visible in my profile picture, and I'm geolocated living in Manhattan or living in Beverly Hills, you're going to get a massive amount of attention. The bottom half, who are not able to express anything other than wealth, which they may not have, are totally shut out of the market. And the knock-on effect here is that we're producing too many of what is the most dangerous person in the world, and that is a young, broken, alone man. When you hear about mass shooters in the U.S., you know who they are before you know who they are. So we are producing an enormous cohort of economically and emotionally non-viable men. In America, 1 in 3 males under the age of 30 has not had sex in the last 12 months.
All right, I will say after seeing that video, yeah, I do agree with them because it's kind of true. After hearing this, I can honestly say that there are some men, once again, some men, they're at the bottom of that totem pole. It's unfortunate to some, but in all honesty, that's just the way it is. In my mind, after hearing this, I continue to personally believe that in general, we should share at least a little friendship and share a little love. And that's what I have.
Oh, yes. Yes, you know who did it before you know who did it. He is absolutely right there. And I absolutely do not. Oh, whoops. I need to start. Sorry. I absolutely do not like giving murderers a backstory because not everyone gets the benefit of a backstory. But what he's saying is absolutely correct. You know who they are before you know who they are. And what can we do to change that? At first, I was thinking sex is the answer, like giving them actual sex. And I was like, well, what about government sponsored prostitutes? You know, so they can get enough sex, you know, and that could have benefits for the economy. But I thought about it and I was like, but sex does not equal everything that they're lacking. Can be a part of it, but it doesn't equal everything that they're lacking. And another part of what they're lacking is companionship. They don't have companionship, and they can be lacking friends. And just like cities that need to sponsor rec centers to keep the kids active, I think that sometimes cities and towns need to find more ways for adults to friendly interact with each other and have friendly activities. And I mentioned Meetup because I think Meetup is an excellent uh, development over the years and way for people to meet and connect with people that they wouldn't normally connect with and become friends with them as well. And the app is an excellent start, but even digital friendly gatherings are cool. Yes, it's cool that a lot of the meetups are now digital instead of in person because of COVID, blah, blah, blah. But that is cool. And they have some really cool things there. Maybe if Meetup was to get like some good donor support or something, because I do feel that that is an answer because these people are not only lacking somewhere to put their penises, they're also lacking friends. And I I feel for them. I feel for them. And until they murder somebody. F you if you murder somebody. But kind of forcing people to meet before snap judgment that are formed online and sex might be able to comfort some. Basic complexity, what's your one and one?
Alright, and to me personally, this stands out. But you truly never know what a individual, even right next to you, is dealing with in their personal life. And I say that really because, and I'm not even calling no names, but in high school, I was in 11th grade. In my physics class, the guy who literally sat right next to me turned out to was arrested for murder. So you just don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right. And my one and one. Should it be a requirement? I don't think it's society's responsibility, but caring about adults having friendships is a good thing. And it's like at the point that you're an adult, it's like you're an adult. But I think it's good to care about our fellow human beings. I think that's a good thing. And finding ways for our fellow human beings to connect with each other in friendly ways. And those friendly ways might lead to sex for the people, you know, because they're not being judged on whether or not they're Rolex shows or where they went to school and stuff like that. You're actually meeting them and getting to know them on a personal level first. So I think that's a good thing. So for my one sentence, I will say not every adult has a strong, loving community. It's not an excuse for causing pain, and we should all, in the words of the exquisite Phyllis Hyman, give a little more love you won't regret. And are we ready for the one cards? Okay.
Yeah.
Now this is going to be really at random because of the timeless tea. In basic complexity, you can pick the card and I'll go first since you went first last week. And would you prefer from 1 to 10, how happy are you? Explain. Or would you prefer if your child told you that he or she was gay, how would you respond? Which one of those two cards would you prefer?
The second one.
I agree. Good choice. Good choice. So, if your child told you he or she was gay, how would you respond? I would be, and the world is getting better. The world is getting better because, like they said, the world won't get no better if you just let it be. And there have been significant people and organizations such as GLAAD and the Human Rights Campaign who do not just let it be. So we have made progress. I do understand, though, where this question comes from to the extent that even as a gay person, I remember hearing years ago when I was a child, hearing some gay people be like, I wouldn't want my child to be gay because being gay can equal a lot of pain. And I don't want my child to have to go through that. And I get that to the extent that, yeah, particularly back in the day, being gay used to definitely mean that there would be a number of obligatory hurdles for you and your love, should you have love, have to overcome. Because a lot of, and this, oh man, wow, this is a good choice, Kevin. Good choice. A lot of, we didn't have the imagery of gay couples back in the day. That was
No.
not a thing that we would regularly see. And I remember, I've mentioned this before, but this just shows what television can do to the mind of a child. Because to me, whenever I would see older gay people, they would just, it would seem like they were a joke. Like it would, and no shade, I'm sorry, all of the older gay people, thank you all so much for paving the way for me. Thank you. That's how I used to think. I was ignorant back then. You know, I have evolved. But I used to think that older gay people just looked silly and out of place. And gay couples who were long-term gay couples, they just seemed silly and out of place. And all of that to say, slowly circling back to the card, it things have changed. Progress has been made. Has all of the progress that needs to be made been made? No.
No.
Are things perfect? No. Progress has been made to the extent that I don't feel that if my child said to me that they were gay, I don't feel that that would obligate them to live a life of being alone, you know? And back in the day, in many cases, that was the obligation of somebody who was openly gay, to live a life being alone,
Yeah.
or to face complexity. And I'll follow up with even more after you. But
Um.
if your child,
All right. Me personally, if my child told me they were gay, I would not care at all. Um. Like, all right. One, depending on their age, I would be like, are you certain about that? Yeah, because if they get to the point, their teenage years, and they say that, then yeah, I'm not down. That's probably what they really are. Um, and yeah, I really wouldn't care. I would approach that the same with the exact same mindset my mom had when I came out to her. And it was funny because she was like, so. And I just thought it was funny because like I went through all that about to stress myself out when she didn't even care. Like you could have told me that years ago. But yeah, I'm sorry. If my child told me they were gay, I really would not care. I'd be like, do your thing safely, but do your thing.
I have to follow up with you on something you said, because this is our back and forth section, right? I still think it's so unfair that us, if a child presents that, hey, I'm gay. One, it's unfair that we have to even announce that. But two, our heterosexual counterparts never, ever, 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 ever get that question. Never. If a heterosexual 5-year old is like, hey, I think a 5-year old boy is like, hey, I'm into little Tiana. I think she's really cool. No, nobody's gonna be like, are you sure you're into Tiana? Have you tried Paul? You know, how do you know that you're into Tiana if you haven't been with Paul? But for gay people, we'll do. If the gay boy comes home and says, "Hey, I'm into Jerome," and it'll be like, "Oh, are you sure you're into Jerome? Well, have you tried Sally yet?" A 5-year-old. And I think that's unfair. And I'm sorry, you can tell by the fact that the way that I'm raising my voice ever so slightly, that does incense me a little bit. The fact that we have that difference there. Again, things are slowly getting better, but clearly we still have that difference there. And I wanted to say, as far as a child coming out to a parent, I my mom was amazing as well. not at. My mom was amazing, right? We both have amazing moms. And I'll say my mom knew that she had a gay son for quite some time. My mom has since passed away. I miss my mom very much. My mom knew that she had a gay son, right? And my mom would always like drop little hints that, hey, Aaron, I'm cool with it. It's cool. And again, another thanks to our Gen X counterparts. Thank you for shows like Will and Grace. Because when I was a kid in school, my mom and I used to watch Will and Grace together and laugh our butts off and stuff the like. And I still, I have a sometimes somewhat conservative mind, in spite of the fact that I have a huge reason. Well, I have a huge amount of reason why I'm kind of conservative. I've always kind of had that little piece of conservative inside of me, but it's not like my family was. My family was so conservative that I just had to no, because my mom was very open and ready for me to come out to her. And I still remember years ago, we were talking about something, and I was going to go into. I went into the closet to take a look at my psychology book to come back and tell her something from the psychology book. But it took me a little while to find it, so I was sort of sitting in the closet for a while, flipping through the pages. And I remember my mom called out to me, and she was like, "Aaron, you're taking a while in there. You can come out of the closet. It's okay to come out of the closet, Aaron. It's okay to come out of the closet." And I remember I was just so, again, the little conservative, ridiculous side of me was, but that's how things were. And I actually became upset, and I was incensed that my mom would have the audacity to imply that I would need to come out of a closet. Me, you know? And, but all of that to say, parents can do a number of things, a number of different ways to welcome their child into whatever sexuality they are, you know? And if the child is, just let them know that you're cool with whatever the child is. I remember we were watching some show, and it was a show where I don't need to go into all of that about the show, but the son brought home a man to it, and his mom was like, "Oh, you bring home a man to me? You're saying that you're interested in men?" And my mom was like, "Aaron, I just want you to know it doesn't matter if you bring home a man to me, if you bring home a woman to me. Whatever you bring home to me, I want you to be happy." You know, so like parents can do little things like that. Anyway, basic complexity. Do you have anything else to say, my friend Kevin?
Just the fact, and I've said this to you several times before, your mom was hilarious. That's just my opinion. But yeah, just because based on the stuff you say out, she was, I know for a fact I definitely would have gotten along with her very well.
Yeah, my mom was super cool and super cool and super open and like not in a ridiculous way that when people are like, some of my best friends are black, like not like that, but like some of her best friends were actually gay, like for real, like some of her for real best friends and
Right.
stuff like that. But anyway, yeah,
That my aunt definitely had I don't even know how many, but she had some gay friends. And I remember once when I was definitely so a teenager was at my grandparents' house, and there was some gay guy because my aunt had stopped by and Edry, one of her gay friends, was there, and yeah, I was young, but I know for a fact that dude clocked me. He, she just had to have known. And when I actually came out to her, she was like, "So, like, oh, okay."
how old were you when you would say he clocked you?
I was definitely my late teens. Um, maybe like 18 or 19.
Gotcha. I thought you were gonna name something younger, but okay, okay. I was going to use that against you to say, see, kids know, but yeah, and I don't need to go there with that. But suffice it to say, people, people know, and
Yeah,
not only do the kids. I always talk about this, how, and I even shared a photo of myself in high school with all the girls, right? And just looking at myself, I was sitting on the steps, and just something about the way I was holding myself, I was like, oh my gosh, I look so gay. I was so obviously gay. And I reposted the photo, and one of my classmates were like, we didn't know you were gay, but I, because I said I was so obviously gay, but he was like, we didn't know you were gay. We just knew you were different. But kids know that kind of thing from a young age because honestly, like the kids in the school, they they don't just call any and everybody a faggot. Sometimes they do, right? Sometimes they kind of do, but sometimes when they like push it a lot, it's kind of because they kind of know. They kind of know some. They kind of feel something that you might not yet acknowledge about yourself. But like I remember kids used to call me gay every now and then. I didn't have a lot of enemies, but kids would call me gay because kids know. And at that time, I was years away from even my first physical encounter with a man, even years away from acknowledging that I am attracted to men. But kids know something. When you were in school, would kids call you gay?
actually, believe it or not, no.
I I believe it. I believe it. You seem like one of those dudes who is just like cool and smooth. And
Hold on. There was nothing cool about me.
And, would you say you were like one of the nerdy guys?
It was probably closer to that.
Huh. So, see, I don't know. Because I was one of those misunderstood guys, but people did occasionally take the time to put me in my place as a gay man. They'd be like, "You gay mother," and I'd be like, "What?" But people would call me gay sometimes. Sometimes, you know, I like I said, I didn't really have enemies in school. Um, I was, I guess, too out there to really have enemies, but I didn't really have enemies. But sometimes kids would attempt to put me in my place and call me a faggot, you know, or call me gay, you know. And I always, I remember one dude I went to a junior high school with, and he was, ex- I will not call his name, but I remember he was very feminine in junior high school, and kids would call him gay and faggot and all that stuff, and he'd be like, "No, I am not gay. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't say that." Like he would be like just the most feminine everything. I am not gay. What are you talking about? No. And my accent is awful. I'm doing an awful job impersonating him. But suffice it to say, I'm making the point that he he was very gay and very much denying it. I still remember what basic complexity. What time is it? Ah, we can we'll save stories for another day. Do you have anything else to say, my friend?
Um, just when you mentioned school, that definitely, I don't think I'll ever forget this. In high school, there was a guy, and I mean, masculine, but openly gay, and he was a year older or graduated the year before me. So he was class of 2000. And I actually kind of had a crush on him. But at that point, I was almost out, but not fully. I hadn't come out to myself yet. And that's always the first thing you do.
Yes. Yeah, you do have to accept it yourself first.
Right.
Absolutely. You
So,
know, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, before you could come out to anyone, you have to come out to yourself.
Right.
And that's the most important one.
And I did that in my transition from high school to college because I was like, I might not come out of the closet to everyone, but I will at least be honest with myself. And I was making good steps. Oh my gosh. I don't have to go into that whole story. But anything else, Kevin, basic complexity?
Um, Nothing I could think of.
Okay. So, All right, hashtag VersTEAv family. This wraps week 195. Thank you all very much. And thank you for sticking with hashtag VersTEAv, week 195. I'm Aaron Mack, and you can contact me. Reach out, darling, reach out. Come on, girl, reach out for me. Come on, boy, reach out. Anyway, but no. That was the Four Tops, and what is his name? Oh my gosh, I want to say Felipe Tolwin, but no, that's the lead singer.
No, he couldn't have been.
Oh, you know, David Ruffin. No, that's the Four Tops. No, I mean that's the Temptation.
Yes.
But who is the lead singer of the Four Tops?
I honestly don't know.
I know. He a truly amazing vocalist. The Four Tops is actually one of my favorite singing groups as well. The Four Tops, the Spinners. Anyway, but
and I really cannot recall exactly if it was the Four Tops or the Temptations. One of those two groups had a song with the Supremes.
Well, you know, back in the day, of course, many people probably collaborated, but I know for a fact that the Four Tops actually did an entire album with the Supremes.
Oh, that
I actually have that album. I got it from my used CD store back when CDs were a thing. But yeah.
That was wow. Can't believe I'm saying this, but that was back in our day.
I know. Remember CDs? Oh my gosh. But wow. Yeah, CDs were a thing, but not anymore. Now it's all about the digital. Well, CDs are digital, but now it's all about the streaming, the digital.
Yes.
Anyway, yes. So I'm Aaron Mack. You can find me Aaron Mack at VersTEAv.com. That's AARONMCK at VersTEAv.com. Find us www.VersTEAv.com. We're all over social media. Hashtag VersTEAv. Kevin, aka Basic Complexity, where can we find you, my friend?
Well, yeah, I could be found at Basic Complexity at VersTEAv.com. That's BASICCOMPLEXITY. And just for the record, those two C's back to back, it's two C's, not one. So it's like taking two words, just put them together, no space.
You know where I got that from, right, Kevin? When I do that?
No.
Because back in the day, you always used to do that. You would be like, it's two words, and you push them together. And that's exactly what you would do. Anyway.
You're right.
Yeah. All right. So this has been week 195. We will talk to you later, social media family. Thank you for viewing and sticking with us. A number of people I see have come in and out throughout the show. Thank you very much. Thank you. You're appreciated. You are appreciated. Don't you know we love you, sweet Sadie? Oh, okay, see, now I'm mixing up Sadie by the Spinners, which was sampled by Tupac in the song Dear Mama. Anyway, yes. We will talk to you later, social media family. Peace. VersTEAv195. Stay blessed. All right.